Hi everybody, it's me Jen from Jail Move, and I'm going to be making a dairy-free, gluten-free cashew cheesecake, and it's honestly unreal. Really great for anti-inflammatory diet, so eliminating dairy but still wanting to have that cheesecake feel, as well as having something full fat. You can add some protein in there as well, and you can also add some other fun fibrous things that may be on your list. So I'm going to start with the crust. I have some roasted almonds that Lifting Chef made for us. Has a little bit of a hole in it. Anyways, it's a little bit sweetened anyway, so you could just get dry roasted nuts and add a little extra sugar in there if you need to. I have my coconut sugar, low glycemic, my coconut oil, you'll see what it's all about, and some hemp hearts just because, and a touch of salt. Remember, salt actually opens up our tongue, opens up those pores, and allows those flavors to come in. So because it's super loud, I'm just going to list the ingredients for you on the next thing, and you'll see all the ingredients for the crust, and you'll see the final product of the crust. Okay, so stay tuned for that and hang tight. Alright, so now that the crust is made, as you can see here, super crumbly, just like as it would be a regular graham cracker crust, and also I can press it down as well, and it comes down into chunks. So it's just like moist enough so that you can press down like a cheesecake, but not too moist because the coconut oil can seize up and make it really hard for you to bite through. I also forgot that I added some dates, so I added 3 pitted dates. I soaked them a little bit, so that also acts as a binder, and not as much coconut oil, because when you put coconut oil in the fridge, like I said, really coagulates, and it gets it really too hard. It's really hard to just scoop it right through, right? So I didn't add the salt in the blender, but you can if you want to. It just felt like it would be a good way to mix it up, and I'm just gonna get myself a spoon. Perfect. So mixing it up a little bit just so that all the salt is combined. And I'm going to add it into these jars. So I got these jars from the dollar store, super nice and small, like perfect portion size cheesecake. And then I also have a little bit larger one just from other places that I've been to. So I'm going to take a seat, and I'm just going to scoop about 1.5 tablespoons into each jar in the beginning. If I need to add more, I'll add more. Give or take, this makes like we'll say 5 to 6 jars. And then when you get your jar just like this, you just press it down, press down the crust so that you have enough for your filling. But you see how thin it is? So that was 1.5 tablespoons. I think I'm going to add another tablespoon. So like I said, depends on how much you like the crust, which I'm obsessed with crust. Even when it comes to cheesecake, I don't know. I would eat like the super thick graham cracker crust. That was just me. So sprinkle that in on each side, and it really presses down, so you really can push down. And depending on the size of your jar, you can, depending on the size of the jar, you can do like a little bit less, a little bit more. So just like that. Yes. I'm going to be pressing down, and then after I finish pressing down all of these crusts, I'm going to put them in the fridge and get myself ready for the cheesecake filling. Alright guys, so stay tuned for that, and you'll get the recipe for what you need for that on the next thing. Okay, so these are the little jars filled with the crust. I'm now going to get the filling for the inside. And what I did was I got raw cashews, okay? Only raw cashews, not roasted. And I soaked them for about 2 days, to be honest with you. They should be really mushy and just kind of slide off. And I'm just gonna get my measuring cup, which I misplaced. Where did that go? Oh, right here. And I'm going to actually do about 2 cups of raw cashews. So we'll say that's about a cup. I'm using a 1/4 cup. We'll say a cup and a half, or you know what, cup and 3/4. Perfect. Now, in the cashew, we're gonna add maple syrup. So I'm going to start off with about less than a 1/4. I'm gonna start off that way. So always better to start off low and then increase as we go. And then we're gonna add about a tablespoon of the coconut oil. Oops, gotta get a spoon. I hope you're entertained by my lack of Martha Stewart skills. Alright, so maple syrup, raw cashews soaked for about 2 days, and coconut oil, and then again, just a pinch of salt, so like 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm gonna buzz it all up and I'm gonna show you how it looks like. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so here is our cashew cream cheese. Look at that, super, super creamy. Wow. And we're just gonna put dollops in there and sort of bang it out. Wow. Okay, the first recipe that I made was like a disgrace. This one is so much better. So I added a little bit more cashew because it just wasn't enough. And I added a little bit of cashew milk, but you can use almond milk or a dairy-free milk, whatever one you have in house. And I used about 3 tablespoons. I'll tell you how much coconut oil I put in. But this is so much nicer. And keep in mind that the blender will warm up your product. So you're gonna have to give it some time to cool down and for it to congeal, okay? And when I'm done with this, I'm just gonna show you this berry compote that I made. That's again super low glycemic, really, really yummy, and super easy to make. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, so I had a little extra filling and I'll show you what I did with it. And honestly, I really am impressed with how I made this, and it's unreal. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be giving you the recipe with everything so that you know exactly what I did to make it best for you. So here is that compote that I made. So honestly, all I got was a little bit of frozen berries, a little bit of frozen cherries, and a little bit of coconut sugar, and about a splash of water. So I pretty much got like half a cup of berries, half a cup of cherries, 2 tablespoons of water because the water is already coming out of the frozen fruit, and about a tablespoon of coconut sugar. We want to make it an adult dessert and we don't want to make it too sweet, so really controlling the tartness and all the flavor profiles of the cashew cheesecake. So just because I have that culinary background, I'm going to clean around the edges, okay? And I'm going to put in this little bit of compote. So you're just cleaning the edges. Honestly, like if you're making this dessert for friends or you're also going to post it on Instagram, I'm totally okay with it. Just mention me. And you want to make it really look nice, really just focus on cleaning those edges so that you can really see the fruit. Some of them I filled up a little bit too much to the top, but that's okay. But when you open it up, you'll really see it. Okay, so we're gonna add about a tablespoon of the berry. I'm just going to gently spread it, just like this. Okay, so it kind of looks like that. Could add a little less cashew, but wow, that looks so pretty. So maybe this one here, because it's a little bit lower. We'll add a tablespoon, even a little bit less. This one's a little bit smaller. And just pushing it into the jar. So people are getting a little bit of that fruit. Wow, that's so pretty. I'm so impressed with myself. So just adding a little bit of that fruit. And then you can also do different things. You can get cocoa powder. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make it for you right now. Cocoa powder, melted chocolate, and cocoa powder, coconut oil, melted coconut oil, and what was that other one? Cocoa powder, melted coconut oil, and a little bit of maple syrup just for that sweetness. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit just for one of them. And you know what? Hey, let's save some dishes and just put it in there. So let me show you a little bit of how we would do that. Now, you get the coconut oil. Okay, just like that, a little bit of coconut oil. We're going to put it in the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, you can use just a regular stovetop. So, put a little bit of maple syrup, about a tablespoon. Because cocoa powder is really rich. We're going to melt that for about 30 seconds, maybe even a little bit less. And then we're going to add that cocoa to it. So, just with the jar covering that, just like that. You'll be kind of impressed by what I'm using to hold up my phone. And then I have one more in the dish. And like I said, I had that little extra cocoa, little extra cashew. So these are done. This is my little extra cashew, so I'll show you how I do that. All right, put that together. I'm gonna get some berries. Perfect. I'm just gonna put all that in that juice there. Nice and warm. I'm going to put a tablespoon of the cocoa powder and mix it up. Really mix it up. So it has that little bit of berry in it now. Perfect. And like I said, that coconut oil really congeals, right? So when you put it in the fridge, it'll be like a ganache without the milk and without the dairy. Just gonna use, wow. I'm very impressed. Okay, so let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just clean this, because let's just say I'm making this for somebody else. And I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of that chocolate right on top. If you wanted to, you could add cocoa powder in the mix as well, but today we're not doing it. And then just closing them up like that. So if you filled them up a little bit less, you can see that little layer of the jam. Now, for that little extra that I have, I'm gonna kind of, so like I said, you can make this as like your own dessert. So I'm just gonna go down, just around. Nice, it's already congealing a bit. Not as Not as soft as it was before, which is great. And then I'm gonna add some of my fruits. So I got these berries at Costco. So instead of like getting ice cream, you can make this for your guests. Put some fruit in it. Okay. Let's see what else I got. Oh, I can put a little bit of sugar-free chocolate chips, maybe a couple. Just in it like that. Yum, yum, yum. Perfect. And we're done. So look at that little dessert. It has that cashew cream. It has the berries. It's a little bit of chocolate chip and that little bit of chocolate ganache that we made. So stay tuned for the recipe, everybody. Thank you so much for watching my video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, enjoy. See ya.